Between the hills, the stars, the sky, the river so clear, river so clear.
Let us join in a spirit of meditation, reflection, or prayer as we deepen into our service and share our opening words for this morning. This poem by Ellen Bass is from her collection, Mules of Love, called The Thing Is. To love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands. Your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weights you down like your own flesh, only more of it an obesity of grief, you think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes, and you say, yes, I will take you, I will love you again. We join Unitarians and Universalists all over the world in lighting our chalice, which is a symbol of the spark of life in each of us. If you are on Zoom and have your chalice with you, I invite you to turn on your video to share while we light them. We are in good company. Would Liz want to come and light the chalice? The lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be filled with light. Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. Our presenter today, Elicia Faul, serves as our music director, and we are so lucky to have her here working with us at the UU. Alicia's music speaks to the seasons of living, spirituality, transformation, comfort, and healing. She is also a licensed acupuncturist and body worker, owner of Loose Leaves Community Acupuncture here in Bismarck, where she incorporates trauma-informed body work, craniosacral, qigong, and sound healing into her practice. Most importantly, she is a mom of 3 daughters. She is passionate about giving voice to the feminine and empowering women. I'd also like to add that you can find her most recent album, Dig Deep, and upcoming 2024 album on all digital platforms. Now we will hear from Elicia, sharing with her her story with our This I Believe series called Love Unconditional.
So forgiveness is inevitable. Love is a given. My hand says so last night. Marnie was there. I saw Marnie there. I didn't know there was something happening at Laughing Sun. I was just drawn there by the force of this energy of party, I think. So I'm showing up at the door and I'm kind of like clueless. And the dude said, well, somebody left an extra one here, and he just stamped me in there. I went, and I wasn't even there for like 5 songs, so I don't think it mattered too much. But I think maybe heaven will be like that. You know, universalism is like, oh, everybody gets in, everybody gets a place. And that's what we're speaking to today. The second U, universalism, the belief that all humankind can be saved, brought to the light. I know the ones I've loved that have drifted off this planet the last year are in a good place. I feel it in myself. I've felt their love even as they're gone. Universal means, and as an adjective, applicable to all cases. And I fell in love with this phrase also, without exception. I was at a recovery retreat, and that's how he did the grace. He said, without exception. We're one body, one being that is consciousness, love, if you will. Love, 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 love. So what's this four-letter word? And maybe a Zen koan will help. Why do they call bacon bacon? It's not baked. Why do you call cookies cookies? You don't bake them. Maybe we should call them bakies. No, a Zen koan is just something that's like, huh? And your mind gets a little break because it can't actually figure it out. Anyway, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross talked about stages of grieving and loss. She talked about denial, anger, bargaining, depression. I've found the one that involves a lot of eating. She didn't mention that one. So here's a poem, short one. Chew. Stop swallowing life whole. Chew, chew well. I did this thing in 2023, about a year ago, almost a year ago. Meditation retreat, 3-day silent meditation retreat. It was an experience. Part of that experience, one of the things they did was a Zen tea ceremony. So I sat there with a few people. You'll see, we're going to have some pictures to give you some visual of what I'm talking about. And it was just this whole thing, you know, of having everything laid out and like cleaning them very methodically and very slow and pouring it and doing this and doing this. So you sit there and watch, and the idea is that you engage your senses, it's a meditation where there's something there. And then the tea was set here and set here. And then there was this moment where Luke was leading this, would go like this, and then you could drink. You take the, of course, by then it's like this, it's lukewarm and there's this much tea in there, you know, but engage your senses and smell it, do the thing. That was my favorite experience of this three-day retreat. But that experience was sandwiched by, previously my aunt passed, was pretty close to, and later, a few months later, my dad passed. So sandwiched by death. A great teacher. Whether it's death of people, relationships, your own dreams, ideas, identities. Death is a reminder that love has a shelf life. And no one, no exception, goes through life without changing. Going from one form to another, maybe to another and another. Poem, a little longer one. Called On This Sinking Ship. On this sinking ship, my aching back says so. The dripping nose, the noisy knee joints, the mind slowing to a crawl. No, I'm not sinking. My dad at 85, he is sinking. The lady at 39 on TV, valiantly fighting cancer, sunk. Gone to some other shore, but not that shore of reality. That is reserved for people who are dead and still living, like me in this city, where lights go out and I notice cells in this giant human body dying every day. A great forest, springing up and decay in every step. And this is as it is and beautiful. How do we hear its beauty here amidst the noise and resistance and assumptions of life eternal, my dying verse is yours. I will take this creaking vessel to the edge to show you there is no end there, only more blue flowing heart that beats onto the shore of living, no fear, this endless ocean of compassion that lives and dies and lives. Picture time. That was the window at the retreat. I was meditating under for a few days. That was a nice view. And the whole group of us in the space. And there's my dad. Slow down, yeah. A little comic relief, yeah. It says, "Hey, when do we die?" We're on a phone. I just love this just sort of spirit of my dad when he was younger. There was a thing at the memorial service where we handed out Tootsie Pops because that's what he was obsessed with in his dementia state and last year or two, and he would go around the memory care and find them in drawers or put them in drawers and dip them in water and just had to have them. So that was a thing that it's just who my dad made me, I say. He gave me a lot of strength in the whole group of us. I'm kind of behind the light there. So that's, I am the light on that picture. That's this last Christmas like, together. Yeah. Some of us, not all of us. It's just such a trip to lose a person that's a parent. I mean, even though you can anticipate it, it's such, you never know what it's going to be like. So that might be, I won't say. And this is my aunt. So her birthday was the day before my birthday. And my dad again. Got some. Okay. I was expecting some other pictures and maybe got missed in there. But my aunt, she was with me. We played music together. You know, we did the services and had that connection. And she was very different personality than my mom. So I think she influenced me in a way. She was more outspoken. She was more like, yeah. Anyway, what is this love? Beyond this and that, beyond grieving and loss, love unconditional. I'd say it has no agenda. It allows for what is. It's a vast space within. It keeps you going. It's external. It's the next right thing to do with the person or situation in front of you. It's a force of compassion. It's a force of forgiveness. We're speaking to grieving and shadow work. And how do they relate? Grieving, obviously, in this process when you lose someone or there's a learning process to this because your brain has a way of keeping track of who you care about. When you have those emotional attachments, and then when that changes, it doesn't immediately change with it. You're still looking for them, just cognitively. So then it takes time to like work through that. And shadow work is kind of this internal process. Maybe you lose something of yourself that you were attached to, and you have to reintegrate, like bring back in these aspects of who you are. They're a lot of hard work. Here comes another poem. Poem, there's a place between wrong and right. And I have to say, when I wrote this one, it was, 3 a.m. It was one of those poems. So I'm happy to share it. There's a place between wrong and right, where the bird is perched in the tree that is life. She sings to remember as the tree sways, as the leaves rustle, her own little body of forgetting, her own little song of coming home. Where's my beloved now? I'm drunk on the sound of my own voice. Here where there can be no visitors, if you see me, you see yourself. If you do not see me, you see only wrong or right. When the mind took over and humans lost touch with their divine essence, they started to think of God as a male figure. The society became male dominated and the female became subordinated to the male. This is a quote from Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. And this created a shadow, like collectively. Collectively, there's a shadow around gender. And all kinds of systems grew out from that to allow for this imbalance. Healthcare, education, banking, marriage, and so many of these systems aren't really working anymore. They're not serving humanity, maybe even destroying humanity. This is a quote from Tiffany Bloom in her book, Pray Tell, pray like P-R-E-Y, why we silence women who tell the truth and how everyone can speak up. Interestingly, purity culture and rape culture have always had one notion in common, that a woman's body is not her own, but belongs to a man. Both cultures equate respectability with safety and assume women are culpable if defiled because in order to be violated, they must have strayed from patriarchal standards ensuring their protection. So let's deconstruct this, not be destructive, but just calmly and curiously take a look at what's going on and how exactly it's not working. I'm curious if we can, humanity still come to some kind of balance. When the mind took over and humans lost touch with the reality of their divine essence, when the mind took over. So that's why meditation, take the mind back. The mind is a creative portal. It's intended to be your tool, not your master. When I was doing this silent meditation retreat, it took like 2 days to even really like settle in enough. And then I was like, why am I still making all of this conversation? Like, there's nobody to talk to because it's noble silence. You don't talk to each other. And I was like, I'm still making all this conversation, even though I haven't talked to anyone for 2 days, and I'm still not going to talk to anyone for another whole day. So that's the landscape in your mind. This thought is inner words. It didn't seem to matter that those words aren't going to go anywhere. The lack of an out loud voice actually made the inner voice louder, but that's the point. So then you can go all the way back to the silence behind the voices and let that grow stronger and louder. That's the rising consciousness, awareness, presence, love, perhaps. This love unconditional. The second piece, the reality of divine essence. What is it? It's not gendered. It's not a he. It's not a she either. Somewhere between those gender bias polarities. It's between wrong and right. And it's not really what you believe, it's who you're being right now. The reality of our divine essence. The reality is that which when you stop believing in it doesn't go away. And I know for me, my body's always been with me. So I'm going to do a little somatic exercise. Hold out your left hand. And you can imagine here in your left hand is what you perceive to be wrong, what you might be challenged by, what you would push away, the darkness, if you will. Hold out your right hand. This is reflecting what you would welcome, or you celebrate, feel positive about. So we have light and dark, we have right and wrong. Gradually allow them to be drawn towards each other. Feels like we're doing Qigong now. And how that feels. Eventually, allow them to come together. And I'm going to move from the podium for a sec. You can imagine as they're just getting closer and closer and closer. So this is a musical version of what that experience is. As they're getting close, close, close. Not quite. How does that feel? How does that sound? And if there's a little more spaciousness, and then there's actually harmony. The Bible says, the lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? I think your eye is like your thought, your perception. So if I perceive myself to be alone and grieving, which of course I'm not, that's a kind of darkness. If I think those people past are gone forever, that's a kind of darkness. If I think I'm not worthy, I treat myself poorly, that's darkness. If I think I did, well, I have 9 siblings, so I also lost their dad. There was some light. And I'll be there myself one day. Like, this reality. It's some light. And I sense still awareness and presence within me. Nothing ever changes that. And that is so much light. And I have a community, people who care about me here and not here, and so much support. And that's a huge brightness in my life. Reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, doesn't go away. So you can believe you're not okay when you are okay. You can believe you're not loved and you are loved. Because the reality is that we are all loved, because it's the very basis of our existence. That love doesn't seem to want to go away. It's the reality of our divine essence. And because it's kind of an intense experience to be in that experience of that kind of love, we have to pass it around. We pass it around in community. Here I am, being this empty cup, saying, now what? Sometimes we empty our cups with meditation. Sometimes life will empty your cup for you. And then, only then is there room for more love. So may you know that love unconditional, your own dear heart, shining out to this community, to your family, friends, maybe even perceived enemies, this entire global community on this precious planet Earth.
Drink from this empty cup. invisible sip of love. Swear no matter what light brings, this crystal vessel sings and sings. Cup overflows and I am fed. Cup will overflow, it's what Jesus said. The trick is to drink what's in your hand. Salty, bittersweet, time's passing sands. Drink from this empty cup, invisible sip of love. Swear no matter what life brings, this crystal vessel sings and sings. Live from this passing life, invisible roll of dice. Swear no matter what life brings, this crystal vessel will sing and sing.
We will extinguish our chalice with these words. We are one, by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. Never has it been more true than now. We extinguish the flame, but the sparks within us remain alight. From each of us in our supposed solitude, the signals buzz and hum, sparkling through space to one to another, connecting us invisibly, but palpably. We are one, and from every window, our light shines.